Sweet. So I'm here with Anders. So Anders is a client of mine. We've been working together for the past 5 months. And so Anders went from 61.4 to 68 kgs in the span of those 5 months. And he also experienced a big increase in strength in the gym. So Anders, where were you before starting? Like, where were you before starting the program? What were you experiencing? Were you already training in the gym? Give us a bit of a rundown.
Yeah, thank you for welcoming me. I think, where was I? I was kind of going to the gym a lot. I was actually spending 4 times a week in the gym. I didn't track any calories or anything. But went to the gym and I think I didn't stick to a clear program. I had my push and pull days, but I didn't stick to any clear program kind of for those days. So though I spent a lot of time there, I didn't see kind of any big results. And it was kind of like that for a year before I then linked up with you.
Gotcha. So you were training, you were going to the gym consistently, but you didn't necessarily have you were just going through the motions. You didn't have a clear plan. You didn't know how to progress.
Exactly.
And how about the nutrition? Like, what were you doing nutrition wise? Just eating healthy? What was your experience before?
For me, I was just really focused on just eating healthy, like having some gut disease. I was kind of really trying to eat healthy, but I was really focused on just getting kind of vegetables and healthy in that way. So I wasn't tracking any kind of protein or how much I was getting. Like I was kind of just eating till I felt full. So didn't have any clear system of how to go forward, like eating about 3 times a day, and then kind of never had any kind of structure in this. Sometimes skipping breakfast, skipping whatever, but still trying to have my 3 meals a day at least. But yeah, again, no tracking at all. Had no idea how many calories I was getting. I thought I was eating a lot, and kind of felt full. But looking back now, I probably wasn't eating that much. And maybe I was also just bulking too much, even kind of not eating very much in the morning and midday, but just kind of bulking it to dinner and eating a lot there. And then yeah, but again, I didn't really track calories or anything, so it was kind of just feeling that I felt full.
So it was pretty much like eating healthy, trying to gain weight, skipping meals, eating big meals at nights, and kind of hoping for the best.
Really, in the past, I tried kind of a bit more bulking and then really trying to eat a lot, but again, never tracked calories. So I probably just ate a lot more vegetables and a lot more bread or stuff like that. So not necessarily meat and then protein, but kind of just eating more in general. But I wouldn't stick to those plans for long, maybe 2 or 3 weeks. Then I'll kind of not do it anymore. So
yeah, it wasn't sustainable.
Not at all, no.
And beyond the training, beyond the nutrition, where were you mentally? Where were you in regards to your body? How did you feel? Give us a bit of a rundown. How did you feel about your body back then to how do you feel now, going back into the past?
Kind of back then, and just throughout my life, I kind of just felt kind of a bit weak, really been skinny, small guy always, so really just I didn't feel as kind of masculine, or I actually felt just really weak, small, boyish. And I think also kind of why I contact you, seeing one of my pictures from a holiday. I also think we talked about it to begin with, kind of looking at my own legs and really thinking, oh, I actually look skinny as well. It's not only a feeling, but so that way I just really feel just skinny and then kind of not that masculine somehow.
And it's funny, I remember when we were on the call together, you mentioned that picture. And it's always that one event with guys that like triggers them to see. Often it's a picture. I've had that with other guys. Like they see themselves, and because in day to day, like you're focused on other things. But when you see yourself in a picture, you're like, fuck. I had that as well. You're like, fuck, now I have to do something. And that's really that's the moment of decision where you're like, all right, let's do this.
Really, and I have the same, man.
And fast forward to now, like let's kind of go fast forward to now, like how do you feel now compared to before? Like what's the difference before going in depth in terms of nutrition, training? How do you feel now? Give us a bit of a rundown.
Kind of the funny thing is kind of I didn't realize that there would be kind of a lot of change in like mindset and then view on myself. Like to begin with, just more like to look bigger for the outside and kind of have a nice picture where I didn't have chicken legs. But like much more what I feel now is kind of not being worried about my body and not being kind of feeling ashamed or feeling like skinny or like feeling kind of the clothes being baggy on me. So like it's not something I think about every day, but I just think kind of the confidence really like grew along, kind of my body also growing. And I didn't realize that it would have this big impact. And I didn't realize back then how much I actually thought about being skinny and kind of my body. So it's quite nice to see now that I kind of have more of that confidence and then just feel better, like in my body, like feel a bit more masculine as well.
100%.
Like it's really nice.
It's funny because you mentioned that a lot of guys that kind of transform, they used to feel self-conscious about their image when they were on the skinnier side, and then when they transform, they don't have those same sort of thoughts, and they feel slightly more free in that way. Like you don't have those same thoughts. Do you relate to that in some way?
Yeah, really. And again, I didn't, like, maybe because it's been all my life, like I didn't realize I had those thoughts back then, like beginning this program. But now I just again feel so much in ease with myself, as you say, other guys feel. So really, like, there's just been a big change there.
And can you give me like an example in your life? Like give me a concrete example of what does that look like. Is it like when you put your clothes on? Is it when you communicate to coworkers? Like what's obviously you changed jobs in between the 5 months.
This is one.
What changed?
No, yeah, but like I would say a lot changed in that regards. Kind of just in the morning feel better putting on the clothes. Like feels better, that just fits nice. When I look in the mirror before going out, I just like I kind of push my chest out a bit more. And I think that also just impacts the day, like both work wise, like going a bit more confident to task. Kind of also think kind of one of the big things kind of changed with getting more like kind of to the point.
Yeah.
And I also had that experience at work, like, and it's probably as well this confidence growing that you just get a bit more self-assured in what you do and like want to get there effectively. Kind of don't hold yourself back as much. So really feel it that way, like both work-wise and then just in general life.
So more straight to the point, more direct in your decisions, in your communication, and just overall the way you present yourself is you come into the frame with more strength instead of like shyness. You come with strength and more power, quote unquote.
Yeah, definitely. Like it is kind of a nice feeling that like your body is good or looks better, and kind of just having that in the back always like with you. So yeah, I really think it helps mentally to go there.
Awesome. So let's dive in a bit more into actually what we did. So
Cool.
we gained 6.5 kgs. Obviously, we gained a good amount of muscle. We also put on a little bit of fat. That was to be expected. But the first step is obviously we broke that psychological belief that you were the skinny guy, that gaining weight was hard. That is always the most important, because what for you, like what was the moment where you told yourself like, fuck, this is possible for me? Like what was that moment? Is it a day in the gym, or what was the moment for you?
Yeah, like a good question. Like I've really just thought like beginning to see the weights increase on kind of the big lifts, like the bicep curl. Like I haven't increased that for years, kind of, and same with like bench, the press, dumbbell press. Just seeing kind of how like heavy weights I could do if I just push myself a bit more. I think that's just made a switch. Like, I don't know if I have a specific day where it happened. Like, I would say going above 22 kilos in kind of the biceps press, oh, sorry, the chest press dumbbells were kind of like, I didn't thought that would be possible for me. Kind of.
So slowly by surely, you broke those limiting beliefs just by consistently taking action, making small adjustments.
Yeah, definitely. And just seeing kind of the weight increase every week on the weight is like, again, give you just more fuel to continue, really.
And so obviously you had not really tracked any forms of calories before in the past. What was your experience with that? Obviously at first it's new. How was that? What was that experience for you?
Like, I would say honestly, in the beginning, kind of a pain in the butt, but you had to like write it down and calculate and remember what you ate. Like, I think it was really good just to have it on your mobile phone to type in to begin with, that you can always pull it up and kind of put it in. But again, just getting like used to weighing your food before you ate every meal was kind of annoying. But I would say like after getting into kind of the rhythm of it and then kind of understanding more how it worked and then how you could optimize it yourself so you like didn't have to walk around and remember all the numbers in your head. Then I actually thought it was quite like enjoyable to kind of start tracking things and seeing kind of the link between weight, what I ate, like, and actually fun enough just to get kind of overview of what I ate during the weeks. Like, again, never seeing that. You just like remember yesterday I had this and this and this, but seeing over time, like, oh, what do I actually eat? Like, is it that healthy? Or so in that way, I actually started enjoying it, the process. But again, it's still like something I have to remember to do, like become easier.
100%. And I mean, the goal is, I told you at the beginning, the goal is not to track calories for life. That is not the goal. I tell this to everybody. The goal is to have an understanding of what you're eating and how much you're eating. And this is why we do this generally in the first 4 to 6 weeks, just to get a deeper understanding of how much we're actually eating, because most guys have no idea. Like, they think they're eating a lot, but when you look at their numbers, they're not. So getting that understanding really allows you to make better decisions when it comes to your nutrition. Like, what can I switch? What can I implement? And with what we're doing here is we're not wishing for results. Like, this is pure data. This is pure numbers. We can always iterate our numbers, whether we're stalling in weight, we're going too fast, we're going too slow. We can always adjust and iterate according to the goal. So how did you enjoy the tracking, and did you get kind of addicted to the numbers? What was your experience, or was it like completely a pain in the butt?
Yeah, like to the number, seeing the weight going up was just really like a success factor for me. Like, again, never really been able to put on weight, and like thought in my head like, oh, like it's so sad for me that I cannot put on weight, like no matter how much I eat. So kind of just getting an overview again of how much am I actually eating was like super nice to see. And then again, to link that with kind of the weight, because in my head, I thought like weight was just some magical number that kind of were decided by, I don't know, the weather. So it's really nice to kind of get that link and actually understand how much I actually need to fill my stomach or eat to kind of increase numbers.
100%.
So for kind of learning process was really nice for me.
100%.
Just really good.
And did it help you when it came to like your weekly target goals, in terms of like we were focused on gaining 250 grams, so we had that target, and accordingly, like, was that motivating as well to know that every single week we had that milestone that we were focusing on?
Yeah, I think a little bit, but for me, most is just like I took it really day by day and like wanting to hit kind of the calorie and protein goals. So kind of, maybe I like misunderstood your question, but kind of like I didn't look too much at the weight and still don't like, for me, it's still to hit the number every day and just focus on that kind of.
So yeah, you're really, Anders is really, he got to a point where he's not focused on the outcome. He's more focused on the process, on the day-to-day process to actually get to his goal. And last question on this. Now, how do you feel when it comes to your nutrition? Like, do you feel more confident? Do you really have to track every single gram? What's your kind of approach? Because at some point, obviously, we take a step back. What's kind of your approach now when it comes to nutrition?
Like I think it's a bit more relaxed than to begin with, because I just have understanding of what I kind of need to eat, and kind of really understanding kind of the protein goals and then going for them. And also just like you kind of have an idea of what protein there is in different foods. That can really help with kind of tracking and getting the numbers. So again, for me, it's just like kind of if you put the right input in, it kind of the output will follow. So I'm a bit more like relaxed into the process now of kind of the tracking. And again, still hope that when I learn even more about it, I can kind of reduce more the time I spend on kind of tracking. But again, it's a lot more comfortable now, and I found ways to kind of make it easier for myself to get it done.
And yeah, the goal is really to have everybody has a different routine, everybody has a different schedule. The goal is to make it as enjoyable as possible to be able to do this long term. Because obviously Anders, these were the first 5 months, but obviously Anders is going to continue going to the gym. He's going to continue his journey. So all of the knowledge, all of the skills you learn in the earlier parts are things that you can bring with you, but also that good base of knowledge when it comes to tracking, then you can kind of simplify it. Over time, for example, I have a very good understanding of how much is in which food. I do not need a track. I take like 30 seconds to track my phone. I'm like, all right, plus 300, plus 250, etc., etc. And over time, that gives you the most amount of flexibility. When you get to that point, you can travel, eat out while still like hitting your fitness goals, which is the ultimate goal, like living life but still making progress towards your fitness goals. Cool. One more thing on this. What were the beliefs you had before starting when it came to nutrition and your weight? Like, did you believe you had a fast metabolism? Like, what were those beliefs?
Yeah, like I think that's part of it. Just like again, believing that I kind of ate a lot. I had big meals, so like something must be broken inside me since I couldn't put on weight. And like maybe it's just my genes kind of making me unable to put on weight. So I think I had a lot of those kind of beliefs. So again, really nice to also prove myself wrong in that way. As long as I hit my calories and so on, I can still put on weight. Like I actually have some part in it. It's not just some genes or whatever.
Yeah, what you just said is very powerful because your beliefs do play a very big role when it comes to your action. Because if you believe money is bad, you're going to have a hard time building a successful business. And if you believe like gaining weight, you have such a fast metabolism that you don't absorb food, for example, it's going to be very difficult for you to actually put on size and gain weight. So slowly by surely breaking those beliefs for me has been a game changer for you because it opens your mind and you're like, I'm not that person. Like people have done it and now you see that you can do it as well. That's very powerful. So moving on to training, obviously, let me just share with you guys kind of the protocol we're going to be focusing on doing moving forward. So here we've gained 6.5 kgs. We're roughly at around 16% body fat. The goal now is really slowly but surely getting down to that 10%. So we're in the month of January. So slowly but surely losing body fat while continuing to hit PRs in the gym. So doing what we call a body recomp. That means losing fat while building muscle. Getting to a point where Anders is roughly around that 10% body fat. So he's looking great. For summer, he'll be looking great. He'll have a great base, a lot better physique, stronger than on the picture on the left. But it's also, because Anders is 175 centimeters, it's also setting his base to move on to a lean bulk 2.0. This was lean bulk 1.0, but obviously Anders' journey is not finished. Now, entering the second phase is getting leaner, continuing to hit PRs in the gym, getting stronger, get to that point where we're around 10% body fat, and then committing to a longer, a longer lean bulk, like a slower lean bulk where the goal is roughly gaining 150 grams per week, so roughly 600 grams per month, and doing that for an extended period of time. And then he'll be getting very close to that goal physique, getting to that 72, 73 kgs, rinse and repeat until he's satisfied. And yeah, which brings us to training. But also the beauty is that once you build your physique, it's very easy to maintain. You literally only have to maintain, obviously, your nutrition, making sure you're getting enough protein, but then it's just a matter of maintaining your strength in the gym. And that is possible training twice per week. moving forward, Anders, so we started with 4 times per week in the gym. How was your experience in that regard? Like how did you feel? Like, was the training difficult at first? Like, what was your experience with the training?
Yeah, like I definitely have to change a lot the way I was working out. Like I think for me, I hadn't been that focused on like kind of shoulder, back area. Like so for me, it was like just very new to do it, do the program kind of you put out for me. In the beginning as well, it was just like doing the hard lifts. Probably also just putting more weight on than I had been before, like kind of pushing myself a bit more. I kind of liked still the focus on kind of having the works out short because I was also doing that before. But here I was like just feeling very different in the way that I push myself more. So we started with like the 4 times a week, which was like fine to begin with, but I could also just feel kind of muscles getting more sore than my usual works out. Even though I worked out 4 times a week before joining your program, I probably wasn't like pushing myself as hard. So I can really like feel the difference in like I didn't recover as fast, or like I had to recover for once.
100%. And so at first we were training 4 times per week. Obviously, your training intensity was higher than before, so you were pushing yourself a lot more. And over time, Anders, at one point, he sent me a message. He was like, "Yeah, this is he needed pretty much a break." And so we went back and forth. And then the idea was like, all right, let's just transition to the 3 times per week split, which is a lot shorter, a lot more streamlined, and essentially giving him more time. So we made gains for, I think, 2 months on the 4 times per week. And then Anders was at a point where this is also what I recommend, training 4 times per week and then switching to three. What was your experience training 3 times per week then? Was it better in terms of lifestyle? Give us a bit of a rundown of the transition.
Yeah, for me, it just seemed like a much more simple and much more focused kind of the program, and then kind of I just really enjoyed the simplicity of only keeping track of those 3 trainings a week and just getting them done, like kind of mentally not having to push myself 4 times a week, but really just getting in those 3 times and those kind of job finished. Now I could rest. So like mentally for me, it's just like much more doable to do, even though it's only one day difference. But I was also happy just to get going with the 4 days a week because I felt like I just learned a lot of different exercises to do and how you could kind of combine them. But again, really enjoy just going to 3 times a week and pushing myself that much harder. Like,
And you like in the first, when we were training 4 times per week, you gathered a lot of experience at first because you had more repetition. So you knew exactly how to perform the exercises. And then you were like, all right, we have a good form on all exercises. Let's transition to three. That's been the journey. And now, what is it? Training 3 times per week. Do you see yourself continuing that way? What's the process?
definitely like 3 times a week is perfect for me, kind of a good balance. I have like full-time job on the side, so it's really just like it's a good balance that it's really like just doable and like I can maintain in the long run. So I really feel that's kind of the way I want to do it.
And so for you, what was the most helpful part of the program? Like, what was the most helpful? Was it having the progression system? Was it having clear metrics when it came to nutrition? Was it the video feedback? What was the most valuable for you?
The most valuable, like I actually think there's the kind of combination of it all because again I could look up things to eat and I could make systems, but having a person that could kind of do it all like across both setting goals for me, kind of helping me nutrition wise, just supporting me in general, like technique wise. Like I think that was really just kind of what made the difference. Again, I tried asking before for kind of help on technique and so on, but it's just kind of just a little fraction of the full picture where I thought like really having one that could lay out kind of the blueprint of where to go and how to do it. Like that really helped me kind of that I could switch my brain off for kind of that part of it and just focus on getting the results and kind of the input I put into it. So yeah, no, it's not like a clear answer to what part is, but I think actually like kind of the combination of it all was kind of what made the difference for me.
I was mentioning this to a friend. It's kind of sad because you can put 7 out of 10 intensity, like you can be tracking your food, you can be hitting the gym, but if you're not properly tracking, if you don't have progression models, if you're not doing XYZ, you're not going to be making a lot of progress. That's why everything needs to come together. If you just have one part of the puzzle, it's very difficult to progress. And so for you, like what's the thing that you looked forward to the most? Like was it hitting the PRs? Was it seeing your weight gain every single week? Like what was the thing that drove you every single week?
Yeah, like for me, I think just gaining the weight, but also just kind of the feel in it. Like really, like I also think I texted you during the program, kind of like my clothes fit better. Like kind of that overall feeling was just like what kept pushing me. Like I also think it was nice to hit PRs and see the weight go up, of course. But I'd just say like in more day to day life, it was really just like kind of feeling better in kind of my own skin and clothes and so on. And yeah, again, just feeling stronger, like kind of a really nice feeling.
And isn't it crazy how that can happen just by tracking a few variables?
Mm. Yeah, definitely.
We're literally tracking what? We're tracking protein, calories, and performance in the gym.
Yeah,
Um,
it seems simple, but yeah, just kind of do it enough and kind of be consistent with it.
what was the thing throughout your journey that you did not look forward to? Like, what was the hardest part?
Like for me, especially to begin with, I think it was kind of the calorie tracking. It just seems such a big like kind of an effort because of course I was eating enough. Like it's just my genes are wrong, you know. So for me, kind of that just really seemed like a lot of effort. Then sometimes it was also kind of this pushing myself. It was a bit annoying that like I couldn't relax 1 week, but I had to kind of push the PRs. But again, just starting to enjoy the process and actually seeing kind of the big results would kind of make you fall a bit in love with the stuff you hated to begin with. Which yeah, like again, kind of tracking now, like it's not something I want to do every day and I love to do, but I actually kind of enjoy seeing the progress and could be able to track my numbers down and see like really okay, actually gained a lot and actually working. So it's really nice to see the progress and kind of having some facts on it.
And how was it having the video feedback? Like, how is it to, because obviously, if you want to be building muscle consistently every single week, you need to be pushing your sets as close to failure as possible over time. If you're just going through the motions, leaving 3+ reps in the tank, you're not going to be building a lot of muscle. And if you're in a calorie surplus, you're going to be building mainly fat. Um, what was your experience with the video feedback? Was it annoying? Like, what was.
No, I thought it was really good, kind of to have someone to kind of correct you. Like you can hear a lot, but it's just really nice to have someone like you could grow on the video, and it's just really nice to kind of see what exactly you meant. So yeah, I actually really enjoyed kind of sending the videos, and to begin with, it was kind of a bit. It was not that fun to kind of video record yourself in the gym. Like it seemed a bit like kind of awkward standing there with the camera, but again after a few times it was kind of just nice again and you would get kind of the good feedback so it kind of worth it to put the camera up and again people actually don't care at all like
People don't care. It's crazy.
so
It's crazy. Everybody's stuck in the head, but like literally nobody cares.
really
Cool. So, yeah, in terms of performance, we've definitely increased. Oops. We've definitely increased incline dumbbell. Next week we're gonna be hitting 28 kgs. We went from body weight 6 reps until 11.5 kgs for 6, and also taking Bulgarian split squats from 9 kg per hand to 18 kg per hand. Anders, any last words? Did you wanna say anything? Like, would you recommend the program to somebody that was in your shoes at the beginning?
yeah like I definitely recommend like I think the thing people always say is, why didn't I do it before? And again, kind of now being through the progress and then still having some work to do, I was just like, why didn't I do it like 2 or 3 years ago? Like, the investment seemed a little bit much to begin with, but I'm actually thinking it's well worth it to kind of get it and get the results. Kind of, again, I would have spent 5 or 10 years just figuring out what I did now. So kind of really having someone to support you and lead you the way, like, definitely recommend like doing a coach and yeah, just really getting the kind of fundamentals down so you can actually like learn and grow without kind of just listening to random YouTube videos with people having their own little systems.
100%.
So like a big recommendation from me, definitely.
100%. And yeah, I'll be honest with you guys, like all of this is possible because Anders put in the work. It doesn't happen by magic. Like he is training consistently. Obviously, there is a system, there is a process, but Anders is showing up every single week. He's making progress. This is his first proper transformation. It's not the end of his journey, it's the first phase of his journey. But yeah, he puts in the work consistently, and it's an absolute pleasure to work with guys like him that actually put in the work, commit, and do what they say they're gonna do. So with that said, dude, it's been fantastic coaching you over the last 5.5 months, and yeah, all
Great.
good. All right,
Thank you.
take care, guys.